Nine Monkeys of Shaolin is Sobaka Studios' take on a classic beat 'em up. It's surprisingly good. Sure, it has a basic story full of absolute nonsense, and the PlayStation graphics aren't helping, but the most important part, the combat, is fun. It's fast, hectic, and the main character has a bunch of moves. You play as Wei Chung, a fisherman who lost their parents at an early age, raised by your grandfather until the start of the game, wherein, somewhat predictable turn of events, your grandfather is slain by pirates and you're terribly injured.
Wei Chung, go at once. You are no match for them.
Luckily, as you lay helpless in the sand, on the brink of death, Shaolin monks show up to fight off the pirates. While they're too late to save your grandfather, they nurse you back to health. With nothing else to do, you join them and they share their deep knowledge of martial arts. Now it's time to get your revenge. The developers really tried on the story and it's fine. The game has plenty of voice acting and it's throughout the entire game for almost all the characters. I didn't give a crap to follow it too closely. Pirates attacking a village? Go save it. Pirates stealing an artifact? Stop them. Master, just point me in the direction of the pirates and I will slay them, no questions asked. I didn't find it engaging since it gets convoluted with double agents and a generic villain, but it's there if you want it. What the game lacks in story, it more than makes up for with its combat. The game is packed with all kinds of mechanics, enemies popping out of the woodwork to shoot you while you're trying to defeat several in melee range. It's a little tricky to keep an eye out for them, but it's much more interesting because of it. Not only do you have to worry about the enemies in front of you, but then to block the incoming projectiles. It's so much fun. For example, see here these two ranged enemies in the background. They're attacking while I'm trying to take care of these enemies right next to me. The background enemies are often difficult to see. You really need to be paying attention to the entire screen. I've gotten pretty lucky dodging around so much, but there have been a few stray shots that hit me. To add to the fun, the enemies are on the edge of relentless. They attack just enough to make it seem like they're attacking together. Still, there are two ways to play. A lot of blocking or a lot of dodging. There isn't a real limit on either, so it's up to your playstyle. I chose to bounce around the level like a spaz. It's really quite a lot of fun. Swinging the staff around, you can hit multiple enemies, but not the armored ones. You need to poke them instead. There's a ton of variety to keep the fights interesting. You get 3 basic moves. One for swinging your staff around to hit the multiple enemies, the next for poking armored enemies, but I quite like it since it attacks at a distance. The final one is a kick to be used on enemies without helmets, but it's good to attack from afar. I was sleeping on it pretty hard until the end of the game. The point is the combat feels great because the enemies get knocked around pretty hard, kind of like a silly movie. Also, you can interrupt some of their attacks. The combat is responsive to the controls and gives proper feedback to the player. Exactly what you're looking for in this type of game. Anyway, I appreciate the diversity of the moves the most. Not only do you have 3 basic attacks, but 6 more chi power moves. The ways of the monk are secretive and powerful, so you only learn the last set of 3 moves late in the game. It takes some chi energy to perform the moves, but it charges so quickly you pretty much get to use them all the time. I enjoy hopping around the level, smacking everyone around as fast as possible, using the different moves to keep me entertained more than for the versatility. The game has a lot of moves for no reason, at least on normal difficulty. The gut stab power move and any of the regular moves will get you through to the end. Then, as I said, you get the last set of moves so late in the game to make any real use of them. Still, the variety is great and I'm glad it's here. Moving on to upgrades, and because there are 9 moves, there are 9 small skill trees for each. It's best to focus on a specific area and maximize the skill you're going to be using the most. It works a little differently by having the player dump points in the top to generally power the move and unlock more nodes underneath. For example, on the jump kick move, you can gain increased dash distance and another increases critical damage. Now, you do not get enough points for everything, so you need to focus your spending on the moves you enjoy most. I figured if I'm going to be using the poke move all the time, it should be the most powerful. Unfortunately, the upgrades don't bring anything special. If they automatically happened, the game wouldn't be much different. You do not get special moves or exciting changes to the playstyle. While it's always nice to grow stronger, it's a bit of a disappointment. It's nitpicking, but this is a boring upgrade tree. I didn't come here for the upgrades, but something more lively would have been great. They kinda make up for it with the weapons and items. You gain them along the way from doing side quests, so it's not up to the player which ones they want to use. Still, I couldn't stop myself from using the staff, which heals when using chi. There's also different necklaces and shoes to choose from. These do alter your moves. For example, a late game item makes your dodge instant. The items are always exciting to get, but once you find the ones you love, you'll stick with them for the whole game. Overall, Nine Monkeys of Shaolin is a fun, little indie game. I didn't expect to enjoy it so much, but when the combat is this much fun, it's hard not to have a blast. It's a bit short, and some of the level mechanics are a bit out of place, but it doesn't get in the way too much. Keep in mind, I wasn't able to experience it with co-op, but it is available. I do recommend picking Nine Monkeys of Shaolin up. Our top story tonight is everyone's flocking to subscribe to Pep's indie game reviews. It's really no surprise with his incredible, thoughtful reviews. So unless you want to be left out of the loop, I suggest you subscribe right now. Thank you.